They take our minds, memory by memory. It would be peaceful, we were told, like going to sleep.
Welcome, travelers of the internet, to Brighthelm Recording. This is your host, Mr. Buckle, playing the Pillars of Eternity. And last we left off, there's dust being shaken from the ceiling. There's lots of really loud thumping going on outside. Maybe an army is marching.
Not a problem.
Hey, there's some loot over here. Just missed that. But yeah, we had to stop the Iron Flail last time we were here and free these people, the delegates of Stalwart. And initially I had thought that the Iron Flail was the army of the eyeless, so to say, the strange portents coming through, but I think we're fixing to find out. What the heck? Eyeless hammer. Oh dear, can we even fight them?
Good. These will leave excellent scars.
Oh, right there. Alrighty, Durance. One did it. Damage. Well, we know we can fight them. As the last Megfolk falls, a ride of essence sweeps through the ether. It washes over you and you find yourself in the memories of the eyeless. The hulking creatures surround you, their sinew-wrapped skeletons clanking and screeching in the semi-darkness. Their bodies fill the air with the tang of metal and the musk of sweat. The cavern in which you stand, it looks like a cavern anyway, glows with a dim ambient light. Steel flashes as the eyeless shift and stir. They stamp their feet and groan in rasping metallic voices. Their restless energy prickles at the back of your neck. And in the echoing rumble, you hear something familiar. It's the pounding noise from your dream, the harbinger of a terrible army. You begin to wonder how many eyeless are crowded around you. You suspect there must be scores of them, maybe more. It's difficult to tell how far back this chamber goes, or where it is. Ahead you see a glint of light. It might be an exit. Already, however, the vision is starting to fade. Let's explore further into the chamber. Push past the lumbering eyeless and cling to the wilting shreds of the vision. The cavern broadens before you and swells with echoes until you hear the growling, grinding sounds of the eyeless all around. You pull yourself onto a glowing crystalline outcropping and survey the expanse of blunt heads and piston arms. There aren't scores of them. There are hundreds. Bloody thousands. The vision ends, returning you to the frozen and blood-churned mud of the fort. The dark appears to have taken some blows. There's a purpling bruise along his temple, and his armor is dented in several places. He looks rather dazed. He looks like he's taken down one too.
Those things, they came from all sides. The delegate... No, you were right. The visions are true.
Yup.
You fought well. And I'm glad to see you've come through in one piece, even if I regret the loss of my men. I'll take what's left of our forces. Those that will follow me further up the mountain. We should be prepared when those monsters return.
We can defeat them if we work together. For I am the tall stag!
I have seen already that there is little you can't accomplish.
Of course.
You don't mess around when you make enemies, do you?
These abominations stink of a god's cowardice.
Well, hang on a second.
Not a problem.
Did they have loot on them? They did have loot on them. Binding copper, vessel flesh. So what's that mean,
I guess we should be flattered that someone sent those things after us. But I would have preferred a card.
She wipes a slick of gore from her neck, sniffs at her blood-streaked hand, and shrugs.
I'd heard rumors of the eyeless, but I always thought that name was a metaphor.
Yeah? Why did they take a particular disliking to you? They shredded you in the fight.
Though I would have called them Mace Hands of Doom, if anyone had asked me.
They'll fall by my hand all the same.
See, this is what I like about you. So this is the mysterious army you've been dreaming about, huh? It's a wonder you're getting any sleep.
That's why we gotta stop them. So I can
I'm
get some
regretting all of my decision-making up to this point. Still, I guess a suicidal plan is better than none.
Thought you'd be happy too. You'd been looking for the Abbey.
I know, it's just... well, knowing that I'm finally close to getting rid of this memory, it feels like it's crowding my head that much more. It's been with me for decades. Driven me halfway across the known world.
Well, perhaps you need to get it off your shoulder.
You're right.
Hmm?
It was a war. Centuries ago, before Adiran unification. I was a soldier then. Led a campaign across the northern forests to subdue some of the outlying Kulklan villages. Brutal work.
Go on.
Lost a third of my forces to the forest, and another third to the elven scouts hiding in it. By the time we reached the first village, we'd crushed their defenses, and they'd bled us. Wasn't much more than children and the elderly left, but they spit on us when we marched into town. The village elders surrendered, and offered us lodging in the old meeting hall. And when the sun set, they tried to burn it down around us.
So you gotta slaughter them.
They barely got a flame going, but that wasn't the point.
You make an example of them.
Figured you'd understand. In their defiance, I saw months more of pointless, bloody battle as we fought for the rest of the region. I had to break them. And I had to send a message to the rest of the villages. So I nailed every last one of them to the trees around the town and left them there to die.
You've been a mercenary and a pirate. Is it really so different?
I've done my share of fighting these 40-odd years, but I've never drawn my blade just to watch someone bleed. And I've never drawn it on someone who didn't have his own in hand.
Well, I mean, you killed them to prevent more fighting.
That's what I kept telling the troops. But if I'm honest, I was angry. I wanted to see pain. And I wanted to be the one holding a blade. I never remembered more. Eventually, Adir and Kulklan united. The gentlefolk forgave each other for what they'd done to each other's people.
Well, you'll be rid of this soon.
Anyway, we should get going.
Alright. No need to bother her about her things. That was kind of scary seeing Maynard go down. She's quite the tank there. A lot of health. I think we need a rest first before we go to the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. Okay, let's retreat to Ganua. Alrighty, now to the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. quite a ways away. Okay. Who are you? Long Bosk. What a name. A dwarf clothed in but a few straps of fur puffs up his bare chest with every drag from his pipe. Come a long way to get some air, have you? I'm looking to get inside this abbey here. Are you now? Pulls the pipe away from his clenched teeth and points its long stem to the path ahead. Far as I know, straight this way. Middle path on the right with a ruined arch, if they let you in, of course. Andrites are never too friendly, but to their own. My mistress went through the archway, spoke to some guards there, and headed on. Your mistress? Are you a mercenary? They got eyes on the other path. Cast me dirty looks from afar when they passed this way. Ugh. As if I'd stand here in plain view if I had some grand design of sneaking into their blazing church. And what's an abbey got worth hiding, anyways? Monks? He grunts again and shakes his head and mutters something about it if he were younger. Well, he's not really helping me, he's just pointing me the right way. Doubt we'll meet again. Any luck, my mistress will turn soon. Hope you find what you're looking for. Alright, let's see if Mainha can just talk to them.
Hard to imagine a whole sect living out here. But I guess that's the point.
I feel like the paved road here is more the path. Maybe just sticking to the road will be nice. Hold! Who's there? I'm the Tidebringer. The guard's eyes narrow. How can I be sure? I mean, you don't really get many visitors, do you? Who else would choose to come here but the Tidebringer? Guard relaxes and appears relieved. Forgive my caution. We were told to expect you. The High Abbot waits you inside. Okay. Alrighty.
Kauto knew Saman was upon us.
The Tidebringer. It's been so long.
My soul is ready, brother.
What? It's a big old ribcage here.
Saw they let you through. You must be our visitor.
Sure you want to
the
go
High
in
Abbot
there?
awaits you inside. Straight back.
A simple test.
I want to look around and get loot first, now that I think about it. Maybe I'll uncover some things. Ice is built upon every space between the bones of this skeletal hand, forming a slippery incline into the jagged cliffs below. Man, that's a big hand. What is all this? Oh, goodness. A mural is rendered on the face of the rock wall. 4 panels seem to be arranged as a story of some kind. First panel, Antu, the end. Second panel, Saman, the flood. Third panel, Tizaman, the ebb. Fourth panel, the Antu, the beginning. Well, alrighty. I guess to wash away the old and bring in the new is,
I can do that.
a thing.
That's settled.
You look pale, sister. Find someone to take your place. I'll stand watch.
I'd hoped I was over this illness, but clearly not. I shall take your advice.
The dude's just walking around up here shirtless. Doesn't he know we're up high in the mountains of the White March? It's really cold here. This giant wrist bone ends without providing any clues to the location of its matching hand. Well, I can tell you where the hand is. It's not here.
Even our visitor is to be turned away, he said.
What interest would our quarters hold?
Our quarters aren't the worry. It's our brothers and sisters below.
Dun dun. That's suspicious. Protruding from the side of the cliff, what appears to be a massive hip bone lies encrusted in a prison of rock and ice. This one. A coppery sheen glistens under the layers of ice that clings around this giant femur with the colors of a rainbow. Strange bone structure. Undisturbed by the high winds above, a mist hides the depths of the cavern. Currents of wind bounce off the jagged rocks, rising to meet your face with a freezing touch.
I should not have peered over the edge. I could see no bottom.
Ha! Perhaps if you pray, the lady will allow you to forget.
What? What a sentiment. As if thrown into the chasm, skeletal remains rest precariously on the ledges of this cliff, as far as you can see. Oh, okay. So that's how they usually handle visitors, huh? You stand at the precipice of a fissure that time has torn into the mountain upon which the abbey stands. Whistling winds call out from the depths of the crevasse, mournful wails hinting at the great descent from the edge into the dark and lonely spaces below. Encased in centuries of time, a rhyme, a gargantuan skeletal hand hangs awkwardly above the gap. Its fingers are splayed in a pained pose, ice preserving the circumstances of the victim's death long after the flesh rotted away. With only the ominous moaning of the crevasse to disturb your thinking, you consider your options. Considering the span of the gap and the position of the skeletal hand, you believe a well-placed grappling hook would allow you to reach the other side. Well, like Indiana Jones, just hook it around a finger and whoop! Though positioning the hook may be tricky, the winds are not so strong that they would endanger attempts to cross. With only the ominous moaning of the crevasse to disturb your thinking, you consider your options. I don't think I really need to. Like, we got the halls of presence all here. And the halls of silence. Let's go to the halls of silence. That sounds suspicious. They said they would turn away even the visitor from the quarters, which I find suspicious. Are they keeping prisoners here? I feel like Andres would just kill them. Okay. This area is forbidden. I go where I please. Oh, they don't like that. They don't like us being in the halls of silence, huh? That means they probably have treasures in here. A thin layer of frost sparkles over the store of bread and cabbages. Nothing like frozen bread and cabbage. Alrighty. Can hear footsteps. Giant skeleton's hip.
I'll see what I can find.
Alrighty. We got stairs going up, probably to the halls of presence. At least that's just a guess that the Abbey has many connections based on these tunnels. So, like, why else would they carve these tunnels if not to connect? Yeah, it says even to the Hall of Presence. But, like, there's got to be some way to each level everywhere from each place, right? Does that make any sense?
A simple test. That's settled.
It's just how I would make this kind of a dungeon. An acrid and pungent smell climbs up from the depths of this pit. There's nothing in this hell. What's going on here, huh? Hello? Do I know you? The woman drags her fingers on the wall, cringing whenever her cracked nails scratch the stone.
Step lightly.
No! It hurts! Make it stop! Uh-oh. I didn't like that. Okay, so they had a bunch of drugs on them, clumps of moss frozen under a layer of slick and green slime. Build up between the cut stones. There's the lever on the other side. Wonder what that's all about. Hovering over a skeleton half trapped in ice, a faint trace of essence lingers in the cold air of the cavern. You let your soul envelop the essence, memories spread in a thin mist under you. Dim and torn, their scattered fragments floating like motes of dust in the twilight. You're walking into the oblong chamber, the stones of its underground walls glisten, still wet from the floodwaters. A hand clasps on your shoulder, you hear the whisper. Arthur, I don't want to look. The memory vanishes, and now all you see is a slab of stone. You're staring at it, just inches away from the wall. Your fingers trace circles on it, digging into the moss that clings on its weathered surface. You're not sure how long you've been touching it. Perhaps you've always been. A scream jolts you. Its echoes thunder throughout the halls. Your ears hurt a pain that digs deep, burrowing into your head like a twisted dagger. You run, others run. You don't know them. You can't remember them, but somehow you take comfort in their presence. Yes, they will help you with the pain. The noise, you'll kill it. The anger of the memory subsides, and now you're sitting down on steps carved on rock. Dozens of skeletons lie below beneath frozen water. Their jaws hang open, silent. Yet, what's that? A low rumble, goggling, growing, deafening. You snap your head to the side in anguish and see it. The water rushing down the halls, pushing you in a torrent of white foam, you fall. Your mouth opens to shout, but your screams are muffled as it fills with water. Poor sword. Get a belt.
Nice and quiet.
What's this guy got? Pretty good deflection. Nice. So, is the freezing of the water constant with like seasons? Moon spiders. Despite the icy sheen that covers these webs, their threads gently vibrate
Sure
at
thing.
the slightest disturbance. The cliffs of the Abbey. I'm not really sure where that would take me. I guess that would be where the grappling point was. where I could grappling hook around.
Nothing will slip past me.
So this is how Andra takes care of her own.
Seems like it. Calls them low tide and throws them in a madhouse.
Who's there?
Fairness? What's up? Or Ferentis? Tufts of downy gray hair sprout from the back of this man's scalp like shrubs. His lower lip curls inward over a row of teeth that appears to have mostly fallen out, and a musty odor hangs about him like a fog.
Is that you, Edith? I thought I'd lost you.
Is he blind?
I see this man's mind, shattered, crumbling, even as we stand here.
Mm-hmm.
I called for you. I wanted to search, but the blizzard lasted days. I'm so sorry.
He extends a hand in gesture of apology, but then the fingers curl and he draws it back. He squints as if trying to see you better.
But wait. We did find you. When the thaw finally came, I saw you rigid, frozen. You cannot be Edith. No, we are in the Abbey. Gift bearers. And you must be the Tidebringer.
That's right. I'm the Tidebringer meant to stop the Megfolk.
Then listen well, Tidebringer. Kauto does not know what he asks. Nor did I, when I performed the Tidebringer's duties so long ago.
Oh, yeah?
The halls of silence. They take our minds, memory by memory. It would be peaceful, we were told, like going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Look around you. We, the low tide, who have been sealed down here all these many years, do we seem at peace to you? We are lost, terrified.
What is it that the Tidebringer is meant to do?
The Tidebringer comes to replace the High Abbot. The ritual is called... It is called... The Rising. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We carry so many memories. Tragic or dangerous, some. We live above for a time, devoted to Andra. Then we come here to forget it all, wash our souls clean of the memories. When it is done, a Tidebringer is summoned.
So I've got more than one duty. Crap. Maybe I shouldn't have claimed to be stopping the Megfolk, when I should have just claimed to have be stopping the Megfolk. I thought like that was the Tidebringer's one and only duty, was to like put an end to the Megfolk. So I guess now I'll say they were false claims.
Those above, the high tide, they become the low tide. It means they are brought here to the halls of silence.
Just to go mad on your own terms? That sounds like great, great stuff.
But not before the old low tide are removed, drowned in a flood, and swept away. The rising.
So, as Tidebringer, I meant to kill you guys? Well, what? Okay, so now it sounds like you need the powers of a druid, too. Okay, alright. Is there an apology option? Nope. Okay, well, what do you want from me, huh?
There is a relic, an aspergillum, it was called. What was it? Well, it doesn't matter. It controls the floodwaters, but also the outer floodgates. Andra's Witness. That is the name.
Okay, you want me to kill you?
It is down here, but I don't recall how to reach it. The High Abbot knows.
I bet he does.
If you can find out from him, you could set us free. Open the gates. We would leave in peace and finish our lives in dignity.
Alrighty.
Use the door behind me. Safer that way.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half.
What's wrong with this door? Oh, it's just a bunch of low tide in here. Is that Andra? She looks kind of scary. With all the tentacles. There's a bunch of gold coins attached to her face.
This fight is mine!
Mouth. It's a lot of teeth. What could one need so many teeth for?
See now what the flame has shown us?
I knew it. There's treasures. Sapphire. An acrid and pungent smell climbs up from the depths of this pit. Are these the toilets? Is that what these random pits are? Just the toilets? Beyond the door, you catch glimpses of shapes in the darkness, wails and whispers, faint and erratic, echo from within the sealed halls. This door appears not to be barred from the inside. It does not budge. Well, I need to get in there, guys. Okay, there's one gate opened for them. Guessing that's from the other side. The rising waterway. Beyond the door, you catch glimpses of shapes in the darkness, wails and whispers. This door's shield shut. I detect a puzzle. Between red handprints, a clump of hair dangles from a stain of thick, coagulated blood. A turbulent murmur echoes faintly from the depths of this chasm. Different scenes of an ocean shoreline are carved into 4 stone panels, arranged almost haphazardly at different heights along a network of rails. The panels are affixed to a set of rails that curve and crisscross in patterns that remind you of seaweed. There are 4 depressions in the wall behind the rails in which the panels look they would fit. The panels show variously a barren shore, a city in flames, a flourishing city, and a tidal wave. Okay. It's arranged. It appears that any panel can be slid into any depression by following the network of rails. Into the first empty depression shall go... I think the city in flames, was it? Because it was the end. You grab the panel and slide it on the rails into the first available opening. Once the panel matches the recess on the wall, you gently press on it. It slides without resistance and locks into place. And then, I guess the second, as opposed to the first, would be the barren shore, or a tidal wave. You grab the panel and slide it on the rails into the first available opening. Once the panel matches the recess on the wall, you gently press on it. It slides without resistance and locks into place. And then there's the barren shore. And then the flourishing city. You complete the sequence of the last panel. It slides gently into its recess on the wall. The remaining panels retract and lock into place. Behind the heavy stones, there is a metallic groan and then a steady whir. A small tile about waist high slides back. Beneath there is a carving. It shows an image of an ocean wave curled around a crescent moon. What? Did I do it? I feel slightly underwhelmed. So over here is the rising waterway. Did I do it? Hello? I'm all confused.
Ah, hello.
Okay.
Use the door behind.
Well, he's not very much help. Okay.
And what does the flame reveal?
A wave-crested key. Oh, I need that key. That's what.
A simple test.
So-
That's settled.
I get it now. At least I think I do. Could be mistaken once again. Let's get over there again. Nope. That ain't it. What would the key be for? I don't know. Pools of the Anointed. So I don't think I'm in a restricted area anymore. Yeah, they still care.
Laying low.
Okay, so this is the vault, they said.
That's settled.
So there's gotta be treasures in here. Oh yeah. Of intellect plus 4. Wow.
It's here. The salt well.
This is it, and the room is a pool. It's small, but deep enough that you can't see the bottom. The glassy surface almost looks frozen. Well, let's do it then. She stands rooted in place, staring at it.
You know, I thought it'd be bigger.
It looks deep.
Gift bearers say the heaviest regrets and greatest sorrows get left here. So it better be.
I thought you'd be diving in by now.
You know how when you've been thinking about something so long, you're worried that when you finally get it, it won't be what you expected?
I mean, that happens all the time, really. I'm kind of used to it.
I mean, for all we know, that thing's just filled with leeches.
You're stalling.
Don't remind me.
So, your memory of the massacre has shaped you. Changing it may change you.
Good.
Okay,
Anything's better than this.
then do it.
Okay, here goes.
Shakes her arms and legs out with a jingling of metal. Striding forward, she steps into the pool.
Oh, that's cold!
She convulses with a sudden shiver, rattling her jewelry. She descends the steps until she's standing in water up to her neck. Hey, what year is it?
Oh, very funny.
She splashes frigid water in your direction. Don't touch me with that. I don't want to forget
This
stuff.
is the right pool, isn't it?
Maybe you need to get your head in the water too, because that's where your memories are. She gives you a wry, sidelong look. Then she takes a deep breath and submerges. A minute ticks by. 2. Mayna keeps herself still beneath the water. At last, she breaks the surface, wiping the water from her eyes and shaking it from her hair.
Hey, gift bearer or not, don't think I won't pull you in here, too.
Maybe you have to leave something behind, like your jewelry. Her eyes go wide and she snaps her fingers.
I've got it.
Same bundle you glimpsed earlier. She snaps the leather cords and unrolls the cloth, revealing a wine bottle. What? You gonna drink yourself in there?
Took this from the Marcheso cellar the night I awakened. Been saving it for a special occasion.
Alright. Oh my goodness, she smashes it against the steps. Alright. Drops the rest of the broken bottle into the pool where it spirals into the depths. The wine has formed a roiling, bloody cloud in the water. It spreads in long, swirling tendrils. Uh-oh. The surface of the pool ripples and Mayna paddles at the spreading cloud. Crimson tentacles erupt from it, writhing and reaching. Mayna gasps as one wraps around her arm.
Hey, she's in trouble!
I think so. Let's grab her. You reach for her just as another wine-colored tentacle wraps around her head. She shouts at it. It pulls her under. Adair grabs your arm and pulls you back before you fall in too. Well, there goes the barbarian. Mayna disappears into the pool. You can't see anything through the crimson murk, except for the blossoming cloud of wine. The waters look perfectly still again. The seconds crawl by.
Allow me to retrieve her. I will fight this wine tentacle monster.
We'll go right for it, Zawa. At last, bubbles break the surface. Mayna emerges, gasping and shivering. Her face is strangely slack, and her eyes are bloodshot. Are you alright? She thinks about this for a moment. She nods. Mayna climbs up the steps and out of the salt well. As she does, the reddish color dissipates from the water, leaving only the glassy clear surface and the unfathomable depths below. What do you remember? She squints, thinking. Water pools at her feet.
I remember running, but I don't remember what chased me. And I remember fear, but I don't remember what scared me.
A wine tentacle monster.
I gave something up, but I don't remember why.
Then it worked. She tilts her head to one side and wiggles a finger in her ear until a spurt of water comes streaming out.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Something drips onto the floor. She holds her right arm up and looks at the trickle of blood running from a cut in her hand. She takes the folded cloth, the one she's wrapped the wine bottle in, from the floor and staunches the bleeding. Clean conscience. She jerks her head towards the exit. And just like that, Mayna is cured. Granted clean conscience. +2 to dexterity. Sweet. Well,
I'll see what I can find.
Look to the rest of this place. Like a living prison, thick arms of coral have grown around an assortment of old weathered relics.
I can do that. That's settled.
St. Weigelt's cudgel. It's got persecuting to it. And there you have a cryptic episode of Pillars of Eternity where we infiltrated the Abbey of the Fallen Moon as the Tidebringer, expecting only having to do really one job, and it turns out, there's many jobs, and there's some bureaucratic nonsense to it, and some more stuff, and that just seems like a lot of work for me, so I'm just going to start killing everyone and looting up the place, and while we were at it, we found the salt well for Mayna and allowed her to forget some dangerous memories. One of the most dangerous forms of human error is forgetting what one is trying to achieve. This is Master Barkle from Brighthelm Recording, signing off.